Hello, we are live in Trussell Media Studios with the incredible Troy Trussell. Troy produces all of our podcasts and also creates exceptional video for a lot of the other clients here in Wichita, Kansas. So if you're interested in starting a podcast or if you're looking for some high quality branding videos, then look no further because Troy is your guy. He'll definitely make your brand come to life. So I'm Sam Lucharini. I'm the host of the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. And we are joined today with Josh Thomas of Gladiator Roofing and his lovely wife, April Thomas of OnPoint REALTORS. So today's topic is going to be a little bit about working with your spouse, some roofing stories, being a rising star, kind of killing it in both the commercial and residential, and a little bit everything in between. So on that topic, Josh, tell us a little bit about your personal story and why you chose this realtor to bring on as your guest.
On my personal story, like COVID really is what kind of changed everything for where I was coming from and where I am now.
Okay.
The roofing industry has a bad name, something I wanted to change.
Yeah, a lot of fly-by-night.
Yeah, a lot of fly-by-night. Something I really wanted to change and really kind of bring some of the appliance world mindset to roofing, where I'm not just changing a part, I'm finding the problem and fixing the problem.
Yeah, the root of the problem.
The root of the problem. And so that's really kind of my passion in roofing is getting to the root of the evil. Yeah. And defending that, which is where the name Gladiator Roofing comes from. Like I want
fighting for that.
Fight for that and defend your home. That's really where we've come from. Yeah. As far as April goes, I mean,
it's a no-brainer.
Speaks for herself.
That's right. It's a no-brainer.
I mean, she's powerful. She's smart. Yes. She knows how to control an audience, captivate an audience. Yeah. And she's a go-getter.
Yeah. I mean, she's got an incredible business acumen and development background. It was kind of a natural fit. So talk to us we'll get to it because you said appliance and I know what that means, but I know that our viewers won't. So we'll dig into that a little bit more. So hang on to that. All right, April, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you chose this industry, why you ended up in real estate. I'm sure you ask yourself why you ended up here every day, but...
No, passion.
Yes.
I love houses. I love helping people find their dream. Yeah. And that really goes back with commercial too, because I look at a lot of small businesses and being part of small businesses and development and being part of large corporate businesses. Yeah. What can we do to get people where they want to be? Yeah. And watch them grow.
Yeah. So make their business dream or their personal dream come true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can do all of that.
I get to do all that and I get to wake up happy every day because I get to help the people.
Yeah. So yeah, and you're in complete control for the most part. I mean, you got to answer that phone and email all the time, but yeah, you do. You get to really create the future that you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Okay, all right, Josh. Let's talk a little bit about your industry and your success. So, what does a typical day look like for you? I mean, I see you on social media, and I know you are killing it, and you're busy, and you've already seen 3 or 4 roofs before most of us have finished our coffee in the morning.
It all depends. Every day is different. You can think you're going to have a slow day. Oh, it's raining outside. I don't have anything to do. Right. I'm going to get kind of relaxing day. Yeah. And it never happens. Yeah. I mean, you've got, whether it's from writing orders or trying to get on social media, answer emails, Xactimates. An Xactimate is something that an insurance agent would write.
This is my first time hearing this word. I like it. Okay, so, instead of an estimate, it's an Xactimate.
Xactimate, anytime you're dealing with the insurance and say the insurance says, oh, well, we want the roofer to give us an estimate. Right. Well, I'm not just going to go write my normal estimate. I'm going to go into your software and write it through yours, so we're on the same level.
That is cool. And it's just actually going to hold a lot more weight later on down the road in helping that client get exactly what they need.
So, I mean, you could be doing adjuster meetings. I could be inspecting roofs. I could be watching a project. I could be, we're short on a couple of bundles of shingles or something. So you
got to go fetch them.
Running them back and forth. I could be training somebody. Every day is different, and the hustle and bustle in this industry, it really never stops. It only stops if you want it.
Right, that makes sense.
And I think a lot of people say, well, you're a seasonal worker. I probably worked just as many hours during the wintertime as I do during the summertime.
That's awesome.
It's just sometimes a little bit different.
Different work, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the big things for me is I'm all about education. Mm-hmm. So even during slow times, I can't tell you how many times April has walked in to the office and said, hey, are you going to come eat? And I've been training for 10, 15 hours. And I'm like, once I start training, I can't stop.
Yeah.
It's how my wheels turn.
Yeah.
I had a funny story. I had Beacon come in the other day, and they were asking me some questions and trying to earn some business from me.
Okay.
And they were looking around, and they're like, man, like, you do Versico? And I said, yeah, I've done all the Versico training. Well, what other training have you done? I see you got the Owens Corning training. I said, yep, I've done all that. Well, what else have you done? I said, I've got all the GAF, I've got all the 𝙀𝙀𝙤𝙤𝙤, and I've done a little bit of malarkey. And they're like, most people don't know all those things. So
what are, because I don't know these things, what are these?
These are all brands. So Versico is commercial.
Got it.
GAF, 𝙀𝙀𝙤𝙤𝙤, Owens Corning, and malarkey are all residential shingles.
Okay.
So I have done the training for all of those.
Yeah, you've really taken a deep dive into every single brand. Mm-hmm. So you can basically say, like, this one's going to be best for you because of this or this location or that kind of thing.
Some customers have preferences.
Okay.
And so, and I ran into it a couple of years when I was first really starting. I worked a heavy storm in Hays, and Hays was full on malarkey. The customers were saying, that's all I want.
That's all they want. It's a funny name for shingles.
And all I had done at that point was 𝙀𝙀𝙤𝙤𝙤. So I really had to learn, because how can I talk to my customer? How can I explain
when you don't know what you're selling?
When I don't know what I'm selling.
Yeah, because they're not all the same.
Right.
Yep.
And then it went from just selling the shingle to selling a roofing system. And when you're selling a roofing system, that is the biggest difference between a fly-by-night guy and a vetted preferred contractor.
So explain that to us, because I'm not even, I mean, I can assume I know what that means, but just for our listeners and our viewers, what exactly does that mean, the whole roofing system?
So a roof has multiple layers on it. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'll put a shingle on, or
shingle on a shingle,
or metal on, and that's what's sealing my roof. That doesn't seal your roof. That's just a water shedding device. What seals your roof is your ice and water and your felt, and then your metal. So your edge metal, your ice and water on your eaves and in your valleys, and then your synthetic felt throughout the field. That's what seals the roof.
Got it.
Then the next step is the shingle or your water shedding device. And that's really where the misconception of roofing happens.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're putting on a system, then that means I'm using Owens Corning product all the way through, and the system that they have tested, the system they have tried, and the system that they're going to back with the warranty, because I'm putting on everything the way they want me to put it on.
So they're going to cover it also.
Yes.
Yep.
And that was one of my biggest things. When I decided to go out on my own and open Gladiator Roofing, and how am I going to say I'm going to defend your home? What makes me defend that home?
Absolutely. What's your differentiator? How are you doing it better?
And it all came down to the warranty. And for me, that warranty was what decided who I picked to be my supplier, to be the shingle, my go-to.
Yeah.
Because like I was raised from a single mom. And so I'm thinking from the aspect, whatever I put on, I want it to be good enough to be for my mom.
Yeah.
And that warranty that I put on is a 50-year non-prorated on the material, which means anything happens,
like on year 49, they're still going to replace it.
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if year one, it costs $15,000, but the market is raised to year 49, it's now cost you $56,000.
Yeah.
They're paying it.
That's wonderful.
Plus, they're putting a 10-year labor warranty on it, which means inside and out. So say our guys mishit a nail or something, it's going to happen. It's not covered by me. It's covered by Owens Corning.
Wow.
So that means, say I retire, decide to, hey, I'm going to hang it up.
Yep.
It just goes to the next provider.
Be April's assistant. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, say she blows up and I get to be that stay-at-home dad.
That's right.
The kids are raised honey. Stay-at-home dog dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then it goes to the next provider.
That's
so that
awesome.
means you're staying protected no matter what.
Yeah.
And that was what was important to me. When you look at the top 5 brands of shingles, there's not a whole lot of difference. There's subtle differences.
Okay.
But that warranty.
That's where all the difference is.
That's what made the most to me.
Yeah.
And then Owens Corning is the oldest shingle around. I mean, they patented it in 1966 before anybody else.
Got it.
So that means I know they've already hit their speed bumps. They've already had their
worked through all that.
They've worked through it all. They know what they're doing. And that warranty speaks for itself.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that about you, about all the different, I know you're very intelligent and there's a lot of education behind you, but I didn't know that you had really taken that extra step. And there's a lot of differentiators between you and others in town, but you are genuinely educated in every product. And again, like you're walking the talk with the name of your company, that you are kind of being that the first line of defense for all of your clients. And they don't know that.
Well, you'll get the occasional client that says, what do I need a warranty for? And now it's my job to educate.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I can't wait. Thank you for asking me this question. Yeah.
I mean, and that's where, okay, well, if you don't care, we can go grab a shingle from Lowe's or wherever, and then we're just going to slap it on. Do you understand what we're doing here? And most of the time, well, you're sealing my roof. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just Band-Aiding it.
That's right.
And I don't want to be a Band-Aid guy. I actually had a customer in Wellington about 2 weeks ago. It's a 2-story house, super steep, 3-tab, had solar panels on it, and he's got leaks on the roof, and it's a rental, and we're looking at it, and I can see it's 2 layers, 2-layer shingle, and then wood shake underneath.
Oh,
which
no!
Instantly tells me, one, it's a complete tear
leaking.
off. It's a boogered up.
Because the underneath of shake is going to be a lot different than the underneath of.
It's going to be skip decking instead of solid sheet decking.
Yeah.
Which means that roof has been on there for probably 50 plus years, and then they've just added layers to it. And
solar panels. Oh my gosh, sounds like a nightmare.
And we were talking, and I said, well, I see a lot of things here. This is not one I'm willing to Band-Aid. I said, if we're going to do this, we have to do it all the way.
Good for you.
And he says, so you're willing to walk away from this job? I said, if you want a handyman job, you need to go hire a handyman. If you want a roofer, I'm here to be a roofer.
Good for
you. And
you.
unfortunately, I was able to shake his hand. I didn't mean it bad.
Right.
But I told him, I said, sir, I'm branding my company off of defending your home, and I can't do that. And I can't put my stamp on this if I'm not doing it the right way. And so there are times you have to walk away.
Yeah. No, just like you've learned, you don't need every client that calls you.
Absolutely not.
No, you really don't. And good for you. I mean, and that's usually the kind of person that's going to end up calling you back anyways, or the property owner would call you back anyways, because it's, those Band-Aids aren't going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it in the appliance world over and over again, where if you're just a parts changer, well, why am I changing 3, 4, 5
over and over? Yeah.
Of the same part over and over again? Let's go find what's causing that.
Yeah.
And that's really where my mindset goes is, okay, you've constantly had a leak over the years in this spot. Well, maybe it needs a cricket, because maybe the way the water flows on this, there's going to be a pond or a buildup there. And so let's correct what the builder should have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do it the right way.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you've got some stories.
I do.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Okay. Well, hold on to those. All right, Miss April, talk to us a little bit about your industry and your success. Did you always want to be a realtor growing up? And if not, when did that shift for you? And why? Why did you choose real estate? Aside from the passion.
I chose real estate because I'm naturally a helper.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you're a best friend and you're a helper, and you get to know a client and everything.
Yeah.
So just going into an industry to where I can use my business knowledge, I can help people, and make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
I mean, real estate,
you're
commercial or residential,
on that journey,
definitely
it's very special.
Impacts somebody's life, and doing it positively. Unfortunately, in real estate, there's some agents out there who have a bad name, just like in roofing.
That's right. There's always bad seeds everywhere.
Everywhere. So just making a difference.
Yeah.
With people.
So at what point did you realize you wanted to be in real estate?
We have 4 kids. 4 very active kids.
Yes.
So we pretty much have a shit show at our house all the time.
Yeah. Beautiful chaos. Yeah.
Beautiful chaos.
Yes. What are the ages of the age range for children?
24, 21, 20. And Jax will be 13 tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, happy early birthday.
Yeah. So I always said, when we get down to the last daughter at home, I'm going to go do real estate. And I talked about it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it would keep on rehashing. Oh, I'm going to go do this.
Yes.
And then finally last year, Cassidy was finished with cosmetology school. And then Jax was old enough to stay at home.
Yep.
Because real estate's pretty demanding.
Yes.
Like you go when you have to go.
You need them to be self-sufficient. You just give them food and Wi-Fi and you can leave.
So Josh is always grinding. So somebody had to be at home. So as soon as we were good, I went down, took the test, and
rocked it.
And the rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about your hybrid agent. We did a story on you a couple of months ago. And you had came so highly recommended from your broker and other people at OnPoint. And you've really just seen an incredible fast rate of success in a short amount of time, which usually takes people a year or two or a couple of years to really get their feet underneath them. So talk to us about, it's very also unusual how you're doing commercial and residential and you're actually doing them well. That's very unusual for agents to be able to do that because they're usually two different languages, two different sets of rules, two different sandboxes, if you will. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, first, being able to do both is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I bet.
When the housing market is down, I can balance it out with commercial.
That's right. And that's a natural thing anyways.
It is. So it's a natural balance, but it goes back to where Josh is saying, you have to be knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You have to be educated. A lot of people say, oh, you can't do both. You're not going to be good at that one. Well, if you educate yourself,
that's right.
You can do it.
Yep. And have the right mentors. Yep.
Exactly.
And you're really committed to that.
Right. So I just really focused on learning both sides of the business.
Yep.
And really pushing myself to know that. I will tell you, your circle of influence when you're going into real estate is what is going to make you or break you.
Yep.
So just doing a lot of networking in Wichita for various companies and things like that. I have a great sphere of influence.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you come from a business background. So you had already made a lot of connections. You had that business acumen. I mean, that's what your education was in as well, right? So it was very easy for you to approach this real estate gig as a full-time business career position. You know, not just I'm bored because Josh is working and you really dove in. And I think that's another thing that sets you apart and has contributed to your success. Like you're taking this very seriously as Josh is ramping up a brand new company out of thin air.
Oh, she hit the ground running. Let's not even sugarcoat it.
Oh, I know.
She came out the gate firing shotgun shells.
Yeah. And everyone's like, who? I mean, what? Who's it? Yeah.
Having agents now come on to OnPoint, who I'm bringing on, the key thing though is you can't do it part-time. Yeah. You're either in it or you're out of it.
Yeah. Just like anything, really.
Anything. Yeah. And I can relate this back to Josh's business. We have salesmen who are the same as agents. And okay, I'm going to dabble in it. I'm going to do it a little bit for some extra money because it's fun. If you want to be successful, and you want to be one of the top people in Wichita, you have to do it full time. Yeah.
You had to commit to that.
Yeah. And I understand completely where you're trying to balance it out. And I have to have a full-time job now. But I had a consulting job, was making really good money. And we were just like, I was like, it's time.
Time for a change. Yeah.
I can't go to this job for a little bit and then go for that one. Like I have to 100% commit. Yeah. And as soon as I did that, I wrote so many contracts in my first couple of months.
I bet. It is. It really is that old adage. What you put into it is what you get out, right? If you work that platform, you work that, then it's going to work for you. Yeah.
And it's like that with everything in life.
It's true. That's very true. Okay. Josh, tell us about your background in the appliances. We kind of touched on that and what you used to do with that. And then I really want to know what the craziest roofing story is that you've experienced.
I've done everything in appliances. Once again, I feel like I was very well-rounded. I started off in the parts house, went from checking in parts to selling parts to being the outside sales rep for this area, drumming up business for the appliance parts store. When you do that, you typically have to ride with the repairman to sell the part. And then when you're selling when you're doing that, next thing you know, you're learning how to fix appliances.
Yeah.
And then of course, they're all telling you, Josh, you're on the wrong side of the counter. You need to come over here and work over on this side.
Yeah. That's a good sign when others are starting to see that before you do.
So I eventually made the shift into used appliances. In doing used appliances, you're going to take parts off of old appliances and put them on new appliances and make them work.
Yeah.
So you're learning how to get into them and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm owning a repair company.
Yeah.
I was good at it for a long time. I think the COVID shift really just kind of, the average service tech will run 6 to 8 calls a day.
Yep.
I was averaging 14 to 18 calls a day, and I think I burnt myself out.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
That makes sense.
Over the years, trying different businesses and so on and so forth, you get better as you go.
Yeah, the business acumen,
Yes,
for sure. And you learn to balance a little bit and not completely. Okay.
And I think COVID, my knees were about worn out at that time.
Yeah.
And so I went from 176 calls a month to 20.
That's right. I do remember that drastic figure when we were visiting.
Drastic drop.
Yeah. People were afraid to let people in their homes, and
we couldn't get parts.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Well, it's a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, that makes sense.
You go show up to a house, and at that point, the person standing at the door and say, "Hey, I can't have you. I've got COVID." And so, okay, well,
how do you want me to fix this? Yeah.
Well, what are we going to do here?
Well, so did people just go buy a bunch of new appliances in since they couldn't get these fixed?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Because you
good for like Lowe's and the appliance stores,
and then it would just be gone, or you'd be waiting 2-3 months to get parts, and then you've got a frustrated customer. Well, you don't want that.
Yeah. So they probably would just go buy new at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the craziest roofing story, I know you have got to have some crazy appliance stories, things that go down garbage disposals or what people put in. Yeah, anything come to mind?
You don't want to go there, Sam.
I kind of do, April.
Rough ones.
I love the gross stuff.
Probably if you want a gross one.
All right, let's hear it.
Probably the worst one I ever went to.
Shock them.
It was not. I was not working for myself. I was working for another company here in town, and it was a freezer call. And so I went out to go look at the freezer, walk in, and in appliances, you're going to see the good, bad, and the ugly.
Oh, I'm sure.
And this was a very much roach-infested house.
Oh.
And you work around them. You kind of get a little used to it. You don't ever like it. But
do you spray off fleas before you walk out?
There's a lot of this is one of the very few that I refuse to work on.
Okay.
So the chest freezer was wedged in between the countertop and I think it was a washer, and it was white on the front and the washer was white and everything. Well, the compressors are always on the side of a chest freezer. So I had to pull it out to get to the compressor compartment. When I pulled it out, everything was black and then it just scattered. At that point, I stopped what I was doing, grabbed my tool bag, walked to the front door, took my tool bag because I didn't want them in the tool bag.
Right.
Out to my van, set up my van, and came back and stood at the very front of the door. Of course, I had already shoved the chest freezer back.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. That was very kind of you.
And I was like, "Ma'am, I really can't help you." And she says, "Well, what do you mean you can't help me? I've got a full chest freezer of meat." And I said, I know. I can tell. I said, "There's nothing I can do here." "Well, what's it going to cost me?" I said, "Ma'am, you don't have enough money." I said, "Here's the deal with roaches, and roaches that bad. If you change the part, they're drawn to electricity. So I can change that part and change that part and change that part and change that part."
What were they doing? Were they covering up so it couldn't breathe, like the compressor?
They're drawn to it, and then they defecate and urinate on it, and then it shorts it out.
Oh, okay.
They're drawn to electricity. If you ever walk into, and April will run into this in the real estate world, if you ever run into a house that is covered in them, it's everywhere. You open up your breaker panel, it'll be there. Every appliance, it will be in every computer board, everything in the house.
I think we all just learned something today.
They will be everywhere.
That is disgusting. I was expecting like a body, in a freezer. My dad used to come across something like that in property management, but that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's insane. Poor lady. I mean, sort of, kind of, right? Like,
well, at that point, she says, well, what do I do? I said, one, you need to get to meet somewhere else.
Yeah.
And two, you need to call an exterminator, and it's not going to be once. It's not going to be twice.
It's going to be bombing this whole place.
It's going to be, you're going to have to go through some work to get this done.
Oh, that's too bad.
Because that was just the first failure.
Yeah.
You're going to have multiple.
Right.
So.
Wow. Okay. That is fascinating. Okay. What about the craziest roof story? Anything come to mind there?
Probably recently.
Okay.
I just did one. Super nice guy, Mr. Bear. Loved him to death. Pulled up, looking at the home. Honestly, I thought the home was abandoned.
Okay.
It was an old, the roof had agricultural metal on it. So like what you'd go see on a pole barn or an older one, not the newer ones, but the older ones, ag metal. And he wanted me to get up there and pull the nails out and then put screws in. And so I get up on the roof. And when a nail goes through old ag metal, it doesn't just go through, it tears it.
Okay, yeah.
When a screw goes through, it almost drills a nice perfect hole because it's got a cutter on the end of that screw. And so I'm getting up there and I'm looking at it and I'm looking around. And you can tell Mr. Bear's the one that did this job.
Okay, like an old farmer guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it looked just like Albert Einstein. Comes out, hair is just all over the place.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, my company's new. I could use the money. He's going to need a new roof. But do I want it?
Yeah.
And I was like,
back to that old,
and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking. And so I get down and I start talking to Mr. Bear. I said, Mr. Bear, I'm not going to do a repair on this. He said, there's no way I'm going to do a repair on this. The only way I'll do this is if I fully do it. And so we start talking and so on and so forth. And he asked for an estimate. One thing about me is I will usually show up with an estimate. Like I'll already have your
like the dimensions and everything.
Drawn out because we can do that through satellite.
Yeah.
So I try to come prepared.
That's so cool.
Because a lot of roofing companies all get you an estimate in a week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you still haven't gotten it.
Right.
So I try to give it to you on the spot. So I already have it ready for him, and I give him it, and he says, well, I don't know if I can do that. That's a lot of money, but I know I need a new roof. I said, okay, well, I can offer financing. He says, well, I don't have a computer. I said, okay. He says, what if I gave you $5,000 up front and then you carry me? I said, I'm not a bank. I said, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not a bank. And he goes, this was a Saturday, and because I left my son's ball game, came over to finish everything up with him. I said, well, Monday, Mr. Bear, why don't you come to my office? I got a computer, and we can sit down and do the financing on my computer, and I can see if I can't help you get through. Because I'm looking around. Okay, the house may look dilapidated.
Yeah.
But you're seeing an old, cherried out Bonneville. You're seeing a really nice tractor. You're seeing some other things that are saying, man, let's give this a try.
Yeah. There might be a potential.
And so he says, okay, well, I'll see you Monday at 11. I says, okay. What would you like to drink? I'll have something here for you. Mountain Dew. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm tell April, I said, hey, we don't drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Like I need some Mountain Dew for the shop. Mr. Bear's coming in. So Mr. Bear comes in, and I'm like, okay, are you ready to sit down at the computer? I'll get up and I'll walk you through it. Drops $5,000 down in $20 bills. And he says, nope. He said, do the job, and then when you're done, I'll give you the remainder. I don't want to take a loan out. He was checking me out. He wanted to test.
I like that. Okay.
Mr. Bear fell out of the chair. Literally.
He was in a chair just like this.
Yes.
We're sitting there talking. He's rocking back, drinking his Mountain Dew. Goes up in the air. I have a heart attack.
Oh, because his feet go over.
Feet go over, and he just starts laughing.
Were you there?
No, Josh was like, you're never going to believe what happened.
Well, at least, he sounds like a great guy. I like it.
He turned out to be awesome.
Okay, good. And he has a good solid roof now.
Yes. New Owens Corning roof. Couldn't believe how hard we worked.
Sure. Oh, I bet he kept a very close eye on you guys.
Couldn't believe we did it in one day. And I was like, well, I vet my crews.
Yeah.
Just like I educate myself.
Yeah. Just like you vetted me.
My crews that's super important to me. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, you're only as strong as your weakest crew member, right?
Funny you say that, because even when we do our yearly training, I make the crews show up and the salesmen show up, and then the crews will learn what our salesmen
That's
are
right.
doing.
I remember this about you.
And then I make the crews show my salesmen how to put a roof on.
The right hand needs to know what the left hand's doing so they can all speak about it.
But here's the thing. Let's talk about your crew.
Let's talk about it.
He has Mary,
Okay.
a female-owned roofing company.
Okay.
She is completely remarkable. She is on the roof. She can sell the roof.
Wow.
She can put the roof on.
What
She
a
can
rock
put the roof
star.
on. 6 months pregnant last year, and she was still on a roof.
And I was chewing her out. Get off the roof. Get off-
Yeah.
get
Oh,
off
yeah.
the roof.
Yeah.
Get
I'm
off the
going to
roof.
bring you off that roof if you don't get yourself off that roof right now. Wow. What a rock star.
Yeah.
That is usually the pain point of most business owners, right? Is finding the right help, finding the right employees.
We have stuck together since she was my very first sub that I put my very first roof on. We have stuck together ever since.
I need to meet her. Can she come to happy hour on Thursday?
We aren't going to be at happy hour on Thursday because it's Jax's
birthday.
13th
Oh,
birthday.
that's right. Because it is Wednesday. You're right. Okay.
So
next
next
time.
month I will bring her.
Yeah, I want to meet her. I want to shake her hand.
She's a rock star.
It sounds like it. Okay, I like that. All right, we've got a couple of minutes left. April, talk to us about, we've kind of talked about what you do outside of real estate, as far as the beautiful chaos of having 4 kiddos. But what do you guys like to do? Like, what are your hobbies? How do you spend your free time if it's not work related or kid related? Is there such a thing? Or is it all work and family right now? And that's okay. That's totally okay. Any absurd habits, any fun hobbies, anything like that?
Motorcycles.
Okay.
Josh and I are pretty passionate about the motorcycles.
Yes, and you have your own, I presume.
No, I do not have
okay.
my own.
All right.
So
I feel like you should.
I think so too.
it's been something that's come up a few times.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I just maybe I'll do that this year.
Yeah. There you go. So make it.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis.
That's okay. Yeah. Now that you're about to have a teenager, your last baby's going to be a teenager.
Baby.
Yeah. It's like a milestone. That's how reward. See, I'm good at justification. This is how it works.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Give me another baby or give me a motorcycle.
Oh, we got grandbabies coming.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't
there
have
you
to
go.
give the baby.
That's right. Yeah. You can get your fix through that. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, when are the grandbabies due?
August and November.
Oh, wow. Oh, the holidays are going to be so special for you guys this year.
I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Well, you might not be able to afford a motorcycle now because you're going to be buying baby stuff every store you go into. You're like, baby things. Do you know the sexes yet?
We know that Cassidy's having a little girl, Allison, and we don't know what Grace is having yet. So
That sounds exciting. Oh, I'm happy for you guys. That's very
Thanks.
cool. All right, we are going to finish this up. I know we got off some tangents, but let's go with some just quick round questions. And if you want to justify your answer, you can. If you don't, that's all right too. This one goes for you. Favorite type of roof: clay, metal, composite, or shake? Those are like the 4 kinds I only know of.
Really like a Woodmore, which is like a presidential laminated shake roof.
Okay. So it still looks like shake?
Mm-hmm.
Does it still function like shake?
Still looks like shake, but
But it
comes in a shingle.
Okay. So it functions like composite then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I see how excited he gets. I mean, if you guys cannot see how excited this man is right now about talking about different kind of shingles, then you need to. Would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year off your life?
I am too pretty for jail.
Orange is not my color. That's a good answer. I haven't had that answer yet, but I like that. And I would agree. That's not, Josh?
Yeah, you're off my life.
Okay. All right. I understand. Would you rather spend the rest of your life on a sailboat or in an RV?
In an RV.
Okay. With a trailer that holds motorcycles, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. That was easy. Go back in time or be able to tell the future?
Go back in time.
Okay.
I want to know about the future.
Well, there you go. You guys have both bases covered. New build or 100-year-old home?
100-year home.
Well, because you can take care of the roof. That's why you said that. No, I'm kidding. What about you?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because there's some really amazing builders out there,
Yes.
but there is some awesome vintage homes.
Right.
Do I have to do the work and remodel it myself in the 100-year home?
Well, it sounds like you have a really great handyman over here, and I think a lot of wives might be jealous of that. But I mean, it can be whatever you want. These are just all hypothetical.
I'm going to go with a new build.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah, I met a goat yesterday, so I should add that to the... all right. Lose the ability to read or to write. This is our final quick round.
Right, I guess.
Okay.
That's a hard one.
I know, but you could always dictate to people, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you choose, April?
Neither.
Okay, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you want. This is your world. It's fine. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I know you guys are both really busy, but I learned even more about you guys, and I appreciate that. So thank you for your time today.
You.
Thank you for coming on. Happy birthday to Jax. It'll be way after you've turned 13, but this will be a couple of weeks before we get this one aired. So that's it. We're extremely grateful that you are tuning in, whether that's through Apple or Spotify or through YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to one of those. And that's a wrap for Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. We'll see you next time.